To that breaking news from New York, a helicopter has crashed into the Hudson River. According to the American broadcaster CBS, I can tell you now that at least 5 people were on board, including 3 children. They are also reporting that 6 people have now been pulled from the water and they are sadly all deceased. So the update for you, and it's a sad one, apologies about this, is that we can now say that 6 people have sadly died following a helicopter crash in the Hudson River in New York. I'm just wondering if we might be able to get that footage we showed you a little bit earlier on of what we believe is the moment that that helicopter crashed into the Hudson River. Witnesses reported, I think you'll be able to see it in this clip actually, the propeller fly off of that helicopter as it plunged into the river. Other witnesses have said it appears that it stalled, potentially, and then plunged out of the sky. Initial reports said that there was 1 man who had passed away and that 2 people were pulled from the water. They were not pronounced dead at the scene. That was what we were initially told. And then, sadly, more emergency crews have gathered there. We'll take you back to the live pictures now. Divers are on the scene. That, I think, is the underside of that helicopter. And we can now, very sadly, bring you the reports that 6 people have passed away. We'll wait for more details on that, but flight radar suggests that the helicopter was in the air for just 15 minutes before disaster struck. Ambulances are still on the scene. You've got the NYPD's riverboats there. You've got a bank of people who are all emergency service workers. Now, shortly before the last break, I showed you what appeared to be divers still in the water. I couldn't see any more there. Potentially this is some more on their way. Whether or not that means that they believe they've retrieved everyone who was on board. I mean, it's a huge tragedy, clearly, but I suppose the worst of this tragedy is the fact that there were at least 3 children on board, all of whom, well, according to local reports anyway, have sadly passed away. So live now to New York for a press conference with New York Mayor Eric Adams.
Thank God we didn't lose any lives back then. It's still fresh and it's still new. The investigation is ongoing, and we have the entire family members. We're lifting them up in prayer. Here's what we know at this time. At approximately 3:17 this afternoon, we began receiving multiple calls for a helicopter that crashed in the water. These calls generated the response of many agencies, as the Deputy Mayor Daughtry stated, including FDNY, NYPD, the Port Authority, and our Jersey partners, the police officers in Jersey as well, and the Coast Guard. 3 adults and 3 children were on board a Bell 206 helicopter that had left from the downtown Skyport just about 3 p.m. The pilot and a family visited from Spain, what our preliminary information has at this time. Members of the FDNY and NYPD harbor units arrived at the scene, and divers from both agencies entered the water. At this time, all 6 victims have been removed from the water, and sadly, all 6 victims have been pronounced deceased. Again, we're praying for the families and our gratitude to the rescuers and the courage that was displayed in their dedication. I will now turn it over to Fire Commissioner Tucker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. As the mayor said, at approximately 3:15 this afternoon, numerous calls were received for a helicopter crash in the Hudson River. We have FDNY asked.
Okay, look, hey, we'll take you back to that. There's obviously a slight issue with the feed, but just confirming, frankly, all of our worst fears, actually, which is that earlier on today, a helicopter fell out of the sky, 6 people on board. They appeared to be Spanish tourists, from what I took from that. 3 children, 3 adults, all 3 have been pronounced dead. None the wiser at the moment as to exactly what caused that helicopter to fall out of the sky. Earlier footage that we played you, which we might be able to return to shortly, does show it does show the moment that the helicopter came out of the sky. It looks as though one of the propellers came off. I think we can show you this. So we'll play this a couple of times. So that is, because blinking you'll miss it here really, but the helicopter's coming down from the sky. There it is. And if you look towards the top left of your screen, sorry for everyone who's watching us on radio, but look towards the top left of your screen, then you can see what appears to be the main propeller blade coming off. Let's go back to that press conference now.
To add here. Obviously, this is an ongoing investigation, and all information that we'll provide is preliminary and subject to change. At approximately 3:17 this afternoon, multiple 911 calls started coming in reporting a helicopter crash in the Hudson River near the New Jersey coastline off the coast of River Drive in Hoboken. NYPD units from aviation, harbor, scuba, and patrol all responded, with our first units arriving at the site within minutes. Our NYPD divers entered the water along with rescue personnel from FDNY, Port Authority, and various New Jersey agencies. According to the manifest, aboard the helicopter were 6 people, 1 pilot, 2 adults, and 3 children. NYPD divers pulled 4 people from the crash site, and FDNY divers recovered an additional 2. Immediate life-saving measures were undertaken on the vessels at the scene, as well as the adjoining pier. 4 victims were pronounced dead on scene, and 2 more were removed to local area hospitals, where sadly both succumbed to their injuries. Names are being withheld at this time, pending family notification. Here is what we know about the flight, and this is based on flight tracking software. A Bell 206 helicopter flying for the tour company New York Helicopters took off from the downtown Manhattan heliport at 2:59 p.m. The aircraft flew south before turning to fly north along the Manhattan shoreline up the Hudson River. At 3:08 p.m., the helicopter reached the George Washington Bridge and then turned again to fly south along the New Jersey shoreline. Shortly thereafter, the aircraft lost control and hit the water just a few feet off the coast of Pier A Park in Hoboken. The cause of the crash is currently under investigation.
All right. Take a few questions. Shannon, go ahead. Can you ask the ages, please, of all the occupants?
We don't have that information at this time, and we're holding it to a complete investigation.
Go ahead.
Could you tell us about the
One at a time, please, Mark.
Could you tell us about the recovery of the helicopter? Is the helicopter submerged in the water? How did divers find it?
I'm sorry, Sid?
How did divers find the helicopter? Is it submerged? And what happens now with the recovery?
The helicopter hit the water, we believe, inverted, and it was, the cabin piece was visible above the water.
Mark, go ahead.
Do you know why the family was in town? Was that vacation?
No, still preliminary investigation.
Jen?
Any background on the pilot? Any past incidents with him before? Perhaps anything in the crash?
This is still, as you see, this is fresh. All this is preliminary, and we're going to look into that.
Time for 2 more. Go ahead.
Do you have any idea of how old the helicopter was, the age of it? And also, we had witnesses telling us that the helicopter seemed as if to stop in midair, and there were pieces of the helicopter falling off before it actually hit the water. Have you heard of that? Do you know why? As part of this investigation?
You have anything?
Yeah, I think the entire incident is under investigation by the NTSB and the FBI and obviously local authorities as well.
Is that something, though, that you have seen, that you have heard witness accounts of?
It's consistent with 911 calls and witness reports.
Last question. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask the gender since the people that were on board, and the children especially.
Still an investigation. We want to be cautious about releasing any information until we're able to notify family members and the communication with the consulate.
Kathy, want to take it?
Yeah. And before we close, just lastly, when myself and Commissioner Tucker arrived on the Jersey side of the Hudson River, we were met by the first responders and they told us they did everything they can to try to save these victims. And you can see the trauma in their face. They did everything they can, and they wanted me to make sure that I made that public. They really tried their hardest. So thank you.